The risk and severity of cyberattacks have clearly grown over the past few years. However, cyberattackers certainly haven't given anyone a break this year. The year 2020 saw the continuing of trends where the number of cyberattacks have increased just as organizations have shifted their business to remote operations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has shaken the whole world, and the situation has left private as well as government organizations struggling to perform their regular operations. Cybercriminals are exploiting the situation of the pandemic to launch highly sophisticated cyberattacks on every industry possible. The World Health Organization, for example, was targeted in March by unknown attackers who bombarded the organization with phishing messages in an attempt to access its digital systems. In April, Iran-linked hackers were caught launching phishing attacks against a pharmaceutical company which has been working to develop and distribute treatments for COVID-19. Data should be one of the most valuable assets in the modern world. The digital giants that monopolize data are arguably the most powerful companies in the world. Many companies and organizations are yet to practice reasonable security hygiene, and vulnerabilities pose a constant threat to corporate networks. However, let's take a moment to look back at the biggest cyberattacks of 2020 in no particular order. We'll check in to see what data was compromised, how it was exposed, and probably what each of the victim organizations have done since they took newspaper headlines for data breaches. Stay tuned till the end of the video for the most notable data breach, which is the compromise of Twitter. The social media platform suffered a breach where the hackers verified Twitter accounts of high-profile U.S. personalities like Barack Obama, Elon Musk, Joseph R. Biden Jr., Bill Gates, and many more were tampered. The first on our list is Wishbone. Wishbone is a popular social app, especially among young teens. In May, cybersecurity researchers discovered that hackers were selling a database with over 40 million user records on the dark web. This incident is particularly troubling given the young age of many of Wishbone's users and the apparent lack of appropriate safeguards for their data. Researchers at Cybel found that the leaked database contained a wide variety of sensitive data, including names, email addresses, geolocation, gender, phone numbers, social media profiles, and passwords. The second on our list is Nintendo. In April this year, Japanese video gaming giant, Nintendo confirmed that 300,000 Nintendo Network ID accounts had been compromised by using unauthorized logins. According to sources, the additional Nintendo Network ID accounts that have been breached have had their passwords reset, and the relevant users had been contacted directly. While it isn't clear how hackers gained access to accounts, it's speculated that weak passwords are to blame. To prevent further breaches, Nintendo posted a tweet asking members to enable two-step authentication. The third on the list is Marriott International. Marriott International faced a massive data breach in January this year. The breach compromised the personal information of around 5.2 million guests. The information included contact details like name, mailing address, email address, and phone number, as well as loyalty account information, and additional personal details like company, gender, and birthday day and month, partnerships and affiliations, and other such. We know that a hacker obtained the credentials of 2 employees at a Marriott property and used them to siphon data for roughly a month before being discovered. We don't know how that hacker obtained employee credentials, but credential stuffing and phishing are both likely culprits. Marriott stated in its press release that the breach is not believed to have exposed PIN numbers, payment card information, national IDs, driver's license numbers, or loyalty card passwords. This news is particularly unfortunate for Marriott since it's only been 2 years since it discovered another massive breach, stemming from its acquisition of Starwood Hotels. The fourth is Cam4. This adult webcam platform inadvertently left a database full of extremely sensitive information available on the web without password protection. Again, we have safety detectives to thank for finding the vulnerability and sounding the alarm before malicious actors could steal the data. There's no evidence any malicious actors exploited the vulnerability. The types of personally identifiable information exposed in this breach are quite alarming, including full names, email addresses, sexual orientation, and chats. Safety detectives reported finding 11 million records, including emails, which allowed their team to divide affected users by country. The fifth is the Big Basket user breach. In October, a popular online grocer in India, Big Basket, suffered a massive data breach that left data of 20 million users exposed. According to sources, The breach occurred on October 14 and made public on November 7, where personal information of users such as full names, email addresses, date of birth, IP addresses of user devices have been compromised and put up on sale on the dark web for $40,000. The sixth is Wawa. In January of 2020, over 30 million payment cards appeared for sale on the underground black marketplace Joker's Bazaar. Security investigators traced the cards in this listing back to U.S. convenience chain Wawa. Wawa discovered the breach in December of 2019, but it is believed that the breach began 9 months in advance. Hackers got the information by installing malware onto Wawa's payment software, potentially at a nationwide level. Intelligence firm, Gemini Advisory, claims that even more payment cards could be at risk. Hackers released cards in batches to prevent the price of the information from dropping. The seventh on the list is Este Lauder. On January 30, security researcher Jeremiah Fowler discovered a database online that contained what he says was a massive amount of records. The database belonged to cosmetics giant Este Lauder and contained a total of 440,336,852 records. Fowler told Forbes that the entire database was accessible to anyone with an internet connection, so anyone could have potentially had access or stolen the data while it was unprotected. The records contained user emails in plain text, references to reports and other internal documents, IP addresses, ports, pathways, and storage information. In a statement, the company noted that the database was from an education platform, which did not contain consumer data. No evidence was found of unauthorized use of the data. The eighth is Microsoft. On January 22, Microsoft disclosed a data breach that took place December 2019. In a blog post, the company said a change made to the database's network security group on December 5, 2019 contained misconfigured security rules that enabled exposure of the data. Engineers remediated the configuration on December 31, 2019 to restrict the database and prevent unauthorized access. The misconfiguration was specific to an internal database used for support case analytics. Microsoft's investigation found no malicious use and most customers did not have personally identifiable information exposed. Bob Diakenko, security researcher, alerted Microsoft to the exposed database. The ninth on the list is Couchsurfing. Hackers obtained 17 million users' information from the hospitality exchange service Couchsurfing. The information was theorized to have been stolen during a breach in early July 2020 before appearing on hacking channels and forums for sale. As far as investigators can tell, no passwords were leaked during this breach. Hackers instead offered 17 million email addresses and real names for $700. A dark web data broker claimed hackers might have extracted the data from an old backup file, which would explain the lack of any password information. The 10th is Zoom. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, various organizations across the globe adopted work-from-home policy. In view of the situation, the Zoom video conferencing app became the most used application for the virtual meeting and got popular among cybercriminals too. The application became vulnerable to various security threats and eventually became a victim of the data breach. In the first week of April 2020, the news of 500,000 stolen Zoom passwords available for sale on dark web crime forums shook the application users. The 11th is EasyJet. On May 19 this year, British low-cost airline group EasyJet suffered a large-scale data breach that compromised data of 9 million customers. According to sources, the data included email addresses, travel information, and, in some cases, payment card information. Also, EasyJet stated that the credit card details of 2,208 travelers were revealed. Because customer credit card information was leaked, this cyber attack exposes EasyJet's breach of the General Data Protection Regulation, which could result in a fine of up to 4% of its global annual turnover. Our number 12 is Wattpad. In June 2020, the user-generated stories website Wattpad suffered a huge data breach that exposed almost 269 million records. The data was initially sold in private sales of over $100,000, and then published on a public hacking forum where it was broadly shared for free, according to Bleeping Computer. The incident exposed extensive personal information including names and usernames, email and IP addresses, genders, general geographic location, birth dates and passwords stored as crypthashes. The 13th on the list is MGM Resort. MGM Resorts suffered a breach in the summer of 2019. The company did not publicly disclose the breach until 2020 when hackers started selling the data on a cybercrime marketplace. The company did not reveal the severity of the breach, but 10.6 million users' information was put up for sale in February. By July of 2020, the number of affected users skyrocketed by 14 times to 142 million users. The data appeared online that included personal information ranging from home addresses and contact information to driver's licenses as well as passport numbers. The head of research for cyber intelligence firm Kela speculates that the breach could be even bigger. According to posts on Russian-speaking hacking forums, up to 200 million users may have had their data stolen. 14th on the list is Sina Weibo. In March, news broke that the personal details of more than 538 million users of Chinese social network Weibo were available for sale online. A hacker then claimed to have breached Weibo in mid-2019 and obtained a database that allegedly contained the details of 538 million users and was selling the data for $250 on the dark web. The data included personal information, such as real names, site usernames, gender, location, phone numbers, among others. The last on our list is Twitter. Twitter took the whole internet by storm when it was hit by one of the most brazen online attacks in history. The social media platform suffered a successful spear phishing attack on July 15 which resulted in a selection of high-profile accounts publishing a Bitcoin scam. 130 accounts were targeted, including those of verified Twitter accounts of high-profile personalities like Barack Obama, Elon Musk, Joseph R. Biden Jr., Bill Gates, and many more. Out of 130 targeted accounts, hackers were able to reset 45 user accounts' passwords. Hackers posted fake tweets from these accounts, offering to send $2,000 for $1,000 sent to an unknown Bitcoin address. The following message was tweeted: "I'm giving back to the community. All Bitcoin sent to the address below will be sent back doubled. If you send $1,000, I will send back $2,000. Only doing this for 30 minutes. Reportedly, the Twitter breach well-coordinated scam made attackers swindle $121,000 in Bitcoin through nearly 300 transactions. The breach was achieved by hackers calling Twitter employees posing as colleagues and asking for credentials to internal systems. That brings us to the end of the video. Did you find this video useful? Comment down below your views to let us know. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. See you next time.